I'm just going to go through and share some of the updates that I've been working on for my scripts. There's not too much information about my Coco script at the moment, or how I use it, or how it can be used. Basically, it allows you to sync audio between your different comps, and it's got this new little feature now for scene navigation. Basically, it's about a simpler way for mapping out short form videos. But yeah, more to come on that later on. My DuoKo script has been updated as well. So what it does, basically, if you've just got a scene with a whole lot of filters and shaders and it's a bit slow, so what you can do is just link up a few things and just toggle the switch on and off, and what it's doing, you can see down here, is that it's just hiding those layers. But it can also be used for other things. Like, again, this is just a simple one here, so it's just turned them all to wireframe. So what I've done here is it's just toggling between these values here inside my duplicator. So yeah, some of that has been updated. It works with a few more attributes now, which is great. I have also added some kind of experimental features, I guess, with these render layer options and your movie options here as well. So what this can do is it can scan the amount of movies you've got in here, and it will create new comps for them, and then you can just render them out using the standard render manager. I'll get around to doing a bit more of a thorough walkthrough on that at a later date. So when I first released benKo, to create a block, you just have to click on the block and move it out, and then you hold S and then you click on those and move them around. And it was a bit tedious. Hold S and move it around. Again, like, no one's going to enjoy that workflow. And then I updated this little auto feature, so you could just click on this and it would automatically create your blocks for you as well. So then you can just click on these, create some guides and move them around, or a bit easier to see if I do that. But you still have to then kind of go in and change the color and the naming conventions and everything else are not sorted. But this is what we have at the moment. So you can just do your design. There's a simple little hierarchy in here. I've got an image shader and I have named them all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all of those and hit my benKo block, and they're automatically named whatever the color was, and that shader has been applied. And then I can just quickly just go in here and set these up. So let's just have a quick look at this star. So again, I can just see what it's called, blue, and away we go. So I can just click on my blue points to path here, and I can just click on the bounding block option, and then I can just click on position and just link that to my star. So now if it's moving in, back and forth, it just sticks in the middle there. What else we've got here is this little measure tool and this compare as well. So I'll quickly mock something up. I'm just going to quickly select these two nulls, and then I'm just going to run the measure option. And I'm going to change this to 9 and change this to 8 and 24. I'll change that to 100. And I'm going to link this to my sides. Okay, so when I go less than this, you can see that those points are coming down. So I might just change it a little bit to, say, 200. But just with that measure and that number range is pretty handy. Okay, I'm just going to click on my star shape again, and I'm just going to run with this scale min, and that way it'll scale down. Okay, and I'm just thinking it's going to get too small and you're not going to be able to see what it is. I'll just select those two nulls and click on compare. And then we have this comparison node, and I'm going to put that on my hidden. So what the comparison node does here is it just gets the measurement and it gets the current value there, and if it's less than, this will change to true and it will disappear. So you can see how it's just helpful with rigging things up and making things appear and disappear and whatnot, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so with this image here as well, that's just using the standard shader, and it's set to fit cover. And I think, yeah, and that's all it is. Okay, so I'm just going to jump into here, this guide, and actually I'll just quickly add a bounding box and link my text to it. So now that moves as well. And what we can do here is select these, and we'll just use the measure tool, and we can just put this measure into the font size. Okay, so now I'll just bring up my number range because I'm going to have to adjust this. So at the moment this is 400. It's just measuring the distance between this null, and it's 400. And I'm going to change this minimum to 200, and a minimum to say so we can use that to control the point size as well. We could have also used these scale options. So just using that point size just gives you a little bit more control and flexibility, and you can kind of start and stop at specific point sizes, which is pretty good. One thing to note as well, quickly I'm just going to jump into this other one here. Oops, so I'll quickly just turn that into a benKo. Oops. So if I just put this up here, and I'm just going to pin it in place with this pin constraint. And I'm just going to show you what happens when we scale it. So if we scale this now, you can see the gap between this pin and the top of the B. So what you can do is just add a line. And that way when you change the point size, it's going to stay where you want it, hopefully. Okay, so we've got these set up, we've got the image sorted. I'll just quickly jump into my pink square here. And what shall I add? I'll just add the missing image thing. Okay, well, you can add multiple things as well if you want. So I'm just going to jump into here. And we'll change these colors. Cool. And another feature that I've added is, so at the moment these all move independently of each other. So what you can do now is I can click my first guide, I'll control click my middle one and then my last one, and I'll jump back into benKo, and I'm going to shift click this vertical guide. So what that has done now, it's created some value constraints. So when I move this one, those other two move as well, which is pretty simple. But the cool thing about it is that we can also just come in here and just go give it a time offset, so that when we animate this, there will be a bit of an offset between all three of them, and it just gives it a nice, bit more of a flowing animation, which is pretty cool. Might have to tweak this a little bit, but you get the general idea. One little simple way, it's added just a few keyframes, and everything is kind of moving around and doing what you want it to do. So once you get the basics of it, you can kind of set something up like this, which is a little more complicated. We've got 9 different, oh, not 9, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different blocks. And so you can see here, I've got the scale set here, and I've got it so that when this gets smaller, these circles here, they shrink down, and also the line length gets shorter. And you can just expand that out. So you can kind of, see how things work, and you can just expand these things out and just build it up relatively easily. But yeah, it's just kind of fun to play with as well and build it out. So these 3 scripts plus my miniscripts can be bought from my Gumroad as part of a bundle. So if you pop along, you can check that out.